Yo, what's going on, everybody? How we doing, man? Week five season, yo, almost over. 3 more weeks left until 3 weeks left until we start to get in on the playoffs, man. What is going on, everybody? The most loyal, the most hated. But we be keeping it real, man. A lot of people may not like what we say, but it's all good until it's about some of that you like, but no capping over here. What's going on, everybody, man? Week 5, RPI system. What do you think about the RPI system? We plan on having a few guests, possibly. Let's see if they show up, man. What is going on, man? We came a long way, right? A long way from the beginning. I said the other day that public schools should not be upset by losing to teams like St. Ray's, Bishop Hendricken, LaSalle. And why I say that? Because it's not a level playing field. RAIL always talks about let's keep it fair, but are they really keeping it fair? Kids coming in from Massachusetts, from other states, even from outside of their district when, teams like Central, Mount Pleasant, city schools are getting wiped out because they have to stay within their region. Don't know this one's name, but big shout out to New Hampshire girls soccer team who refused to play against team with male team members. So, we can't have girls, we can't have boys pretending to be boys. And I'm sorry if I can't believe that a boy is a girl because I say I am. That's just not how it's always been. And so we can't allow that, man. But we're getting into some RPI. Here we go. Oh, anyone looking at a UMass Dortmund game this week? They are on a bye. They're on a tear, man. They're just doing all types of things, just beating teams, averaging 60 points a game, and quarter of the team is from Rhode Island. So shout out to these guys up there at UMass Dortmund. Ryan McCormick just recruiting his rear end off. What a work ethic he has. He brings Najee Barrows in up there. Shout out to Najee. But they have the week off, and then they're gonna play Worcester State next week. And I'm sure they're up there trembling to play Worcester State. But congratulations to Dante. His last game, 21 for 27. Player of the week, D2, D1, yeah, D3 team of the week. So, breaking records. But we're looking at the RPI system. This is going back week 4 last week. We had Situate that was leading the pack, but definitely share this. I'm gonna bring it. While I do, we're gonna check out some of the Friday night rivals game that went on. Smithfield against North Smithfield. So I'll check that out and do a couple things. Now, this game can be found on NBC 10's YouTube page, North Smithfield and Smithfield. Ooh, nice tackle. We're going to talk a little bit about Cranston East, Coach Jimmy Cook. Coventry beats Mount Pleasant. Big win. Coventry definitely needed that. It looks like North Smithfield gets a score. Looks like number 2. Nice catch right there. And they threw a flag on that one. Well, you watch this game, what I noticed about North Smithfield, and I'm going to try to talk to Coach Paiva. The amount of passes, and they were in the red zone about 4 times the total of this game. And they only ran it about 5, 6 times. Not from the red zone the entire game. And if I'm wrong, when you get in the red zone, is that a time that you pass the ball? Or should you be dialing up a couple run plays? Just curious for the non-football people that are out there, should we be dialing up some run plays inside goal line? Because you notice throughout this game, throughout this game, North Smithfield passed the ball a lot. And we're going to look at the Division 4 RPIs. If we look at last week, let me see, where are we? Here we go. Week 4 RPIs. Nope, that was Division 2. There we go. A week ago, we had Situate, Davies, Narragansett, PCD Co-op, Tiverton, Smithfield, North Smithfield, EWG, and Tollgate. And what was crazy about this one, EWG has no wins on the season, and Tollgate had a win on the season. And again, this is last week, week 4. And EWG was ranked ahead of Tollgate. EWG would snag that last playoff spot. Which, so you have to have points if you lose. So then we come to this week, week 5. Situate, who is 5-0. Shout out to Situate. The former Shea coach has things going pretty good up there. Situate controls the number 1 spot, followed by Narragansett. Davies, no surprise. But a lot of people say, why is Narragansett in Division 4? I mean, leave something in the comment section if you agree with that. Davies, who's been playing very good football. If Davies continues, should Davies... Well, actually, Davies just moved up, right, to Division 3. So, all right, strike that. I mean, I have this screw up. This is Division 4. I'm sorry. I just didn't. I got to fix the top of that. Lazy, Mike. You're lazy. So, number 4 spot, you have Sanchez with 1.27. Smithfield with the 5th spot, 1.23. Tiverton coming in 6th with 101. And North Smithfield picking up the 6th spot. So if the playoffs, they're 3 weeks away. We got 3 games remaining. And the top 8 teams get in. EWG Prout is crazy with 0.84. And then Hope St. Patrick's picking up. You know, they're still on the outside looking in. Now, this is as of week 5. Yeah, so this is week 5, Division 4. So right now, EWG has a playoff spot. I don't know if y'all think that's crazy, but shout out to EWG. You know, I think that is crazy. And so some people are saying when the end of the season comes, we'll understand the way the points are a little bit better. So now if we jump to Division 3, there we go. That's right. Week 5, after all these games, this is how it would look right now. And there's no 2 sides. So you have the top seed playing the last seed. Now I only go up to top 9 because 8 teams make the playoffs, and that's what we're looking at. Rogers, awesome football. They've been playing all season long. 2.83. Classical, right? 2.76. Pilgrim, Pilgrim in the beginning of the year, beating one socket. They got a big jump on the points. I believe I might even still have that one. Yeah, here we go. earlier in the season after Pilgrim beat Socket, they was up there with 3.38 because when Socket has a high RPI, has a high opponent's win percentage. And it basically goes win percentage versus your opponent's win percentage. And they do some crazy math in that situation. So this was a couple weeks ago. And then let me get back to where I was. Week 5. Here we go. No. There we go. Week 5, Division 3, man. But, we've been seeing some great freaking football out there. Like, cannot lie. Oh, look at that one. And he picks it up. No brainer. It's a no dozy. So at this point, it's 10-7 North Smithfield. North Smithfield gets their quarterback back. They pass a lot. Like Rowley said earlier, 80% passing. I'm gonna put these joints on. We're talking RPI, Rhode Island High School football. We were just talking the Division 3, Rogers Classical. We're gonna bring on our representative of the officials. What's up, Emerson?
All right, what's going on?
All right, not bad, man. Welcome, like always, man. Appreciate you.
Of course, anytime.
What's been going on, man? We've been playing I've been seeing some great football this year. Besides a couple teams, man, these alignments are not really that bad.
Yeah, I think overall they've done a much better job of putting these teams in a position to be competitive. I think we finally found something that's working here, and he's got to keep rolling with it. I think I had a game yesterday, Burrowville versus Woonsocket. Honestly, definitely the best game I've officiated all years thus far. And I mean that was just a back and forth battle. Burrowville got the edge in Woonsocket 28-21, but please shout out to both coaches there. They do a really good job with their programs, and it shows. And it was a physical game, and Burrowville came out on top, but that says nothing about the the competitiveness of Woonsocket. I mean, Woonsocket went out there and gave it their all and made some really good plays. And they had one big run back and ran all the way to about the 4-yard line and punched it in, and that really started their momentum. But Burrowville bounced right back. I mean, it was just a really solid game, and that's really what why you do this. That was a really good game yesterday, and hopefully the other games I get are similar to it.
Absolutely. And, shout out to Coach Ferraro, what he does out there in Burrowville, what he puts together. Coach Jelinas, works out with the quarterbacks, does a lot with the program. Let me just show this quick video, actually. Like where Waldo go. I'ma have them drop and spin your block, they all gon' go. I like cash, money, yeah, that's all I know. I am not a scammer, you want some, then you can call me though. If it's just one op, he disappeared, like where Waldo go. I'ma have them drop and spin your block, they all gon' go. Before I break her back, I hit the trap and break the work down. I just bought 200 tons, I'm going straight to Perk Town. Niggas in they feelings, go get some money, pull your skirt down. I feel like Lamar Jackson running for the first down. I was signed to the streets before I heard a little dirt. You don't want to feel what I got inside this chopper. Yeah, this. You fucking with me, man. Give me that fucking army you're gonna play with. I take you off the fucking house. Bitch, I'm in the field, calling plays like the Columbine. I signed my son birth certificate with all dollar signs. I'm about to take a trip, 3 hours there, another 3 back. It's 6-hour drive, I'm coming home with 14 racks. He disappeared, like where Waldo go. Well, a glimpse of something that the Burrowville QB sent me, So shout out to Logan Jelinas. I told you I actually play it, but I like what they're doing up there in Burrowville. Great quarterback. Some people might remember his brother Jake a couple years ago. High school
Mm.
career, 73 touchdowns, 5,000 yards. So Burville's doing their thing.
Yeah, I mean they're really, they really did well yesterday, and honestly, it's a credit to them. I mean they're just a really gritty team. Just they'll get in them trenches and just start pushing people around, and really trying to get the job done. That's what they do. So it was a pleasure officiating that game. It was getting a little bit chippy, but again, I expect that with the competitiveness of both teams. Obviously, I had to calm it down some, but like I said, Bovo pulled it out, and shout out to both of them. They're really solid teams. Woonsocket definitely has a lot of promise, and I know Coach Bebo is going to show them the way there. So it was a really good game yesterday. Really, really good.
No, Woonsocket, shout out to Coach B-Ball, doing his thing. I actually did a podcast maybe about a month ago, and and in the title I said, I'm sorry, but we have to keep everybody accountable. And I tagged Coach B-Ball, and Coach B-Ball said the first thing I thought of, what the hell did I do? And it's kind of funny because what I was talking about this last season, if people remember, I don't have the picture up here, but Coach B-Ball sent 3 kids went on to UMass Dartmouth, another player went somewhere else, and for Woonsocket right now to be sending 4 kids to college, I think that's Coach B-Ball deserves a lot of credit in that. He really pushed these kids, so I wanted to hold him accountable, for doing what he has to do and getting these kids off to college.
Yeah, I mean, for the situations that he has to deal with up there, definitely a little bit different than other programs. But I mean, you got to give him credit where credit's due to getting these kids to college. And honestly, just working with all these kids, a lot of them come from different slash difficult backgrounds. And of course, not all of them, but some of them. But he keeps that team together, and he keeps them competitive. And that's what a lot of folks don't understand. It's more than just X's and O's being a head coach. There's a lot of people that don't understand that. And actually, Coach Bebo is really one of the ones that does a good job with that. And he doesn't get a lot of credit for it either. I mean, I know he's definitely had some success in his career. It's obviously the years going on, he still has. I know he's been to playoffs, but not Super Bowls. But that's not the measure of success. I mean, the measure of success, honestly, with him is having a successful program, having them kids really soak in what he's showing them, and that's exactly what they're doing up there. And you can tell. I mean, those kids they're all of them are good kids. Talk to them on the sidelines. I know a few of them, and he does a really good job up there. So much respect for him for doing what he does, and just getting the job done up there.
I'll tell you what, I go back to 2018 with Coach Bebo, 2019 season, back-to-back Super Bowl championships, and I remember one year particular when Woonsocket comes to Westerly runs a single wing, put 61 up on him. From that game on, Woonsocket did not lose another game that season all the way to the Super Bowl. And Westerly plays Burrillville a week before. Burrillville figured out how to shut that single wing down. And Woonsocket the very next week came in and did a great job at it, shutting the single wing down. But Coach B-Ball, yeah, and then 2019, I believe another championship. So, definitely, I think one of the youngest coaches to do the back-to-back championships. But and it's the end of Barry Field, man. So hopefully, because we have some parents in Burrillville that just put a cease and desist on Burrillville's field, which is crazy because they want to say, oh, there's PFAS in there, and people bring up them arguments, and now Burrillville is sitting with a big sand lot where their field should be, so I mean, so hopefully Burrillville can get that football field taken care of. But all you're doing by filing these frivolous lawsuits is holding off the kids playing football, man. You think Brown University and Yale would allow turf if it was dangerous?
I know.
Big medical school, and now you have some local local over there at Burrville that files a lawsuit to stop the football field progress, and now it's all it's I don't know. I just think it's crazy. I actually wrote a story about it last week. It's over on Newsbreak. Like you would have to eat the whole damn field. The amount of
Right.
PFAS that's in a bottle of like cleaning detergent under your counter is parts per million is more dangerous than these football fields.
Right. And again,
You know,
they can the need for these types of field, and especially in this state. I mean, I hate to keep beating up on the state, with certain topics, but we're so far behind other states when it comes to fields and the degree of how football is. I mean, there needs to be a breaking point. Where it's like, okay, we need to do this for the kids. And we need to do this, to make their experience better. And it's just not happening as fast as it needs to. I mean, literally, we're surrounded by Connecticut and Mass, and they have it so much better than us. And granted, yes, you can say, okay, bigger states, more money to deal with, blah, blah, blah. You can make whatever excuses you want to make. But, there really needs to be an emphasis on, and honestly, not just football. As much as we love football, I mean, there needs to be a focus on all these sports in this state. I mean, I really think that we're dropping the ball there. I mean, literally going to Connecticut and going to Massachusetts and literally just seeing what they're doing, how many fields they have. You look at all their school facilities and things like that. And again, it's not everywhere, but it is in a lot of places. They have a lot of city fields that these kids can use and is decent. And we honestly don't have that, and it's sad. And honestly, I will bring up the city I'm sitting in right now, Warwick. Okay, where other cities have turf fields. I mean, Central Falls, which is a 1 square mile, has 2, and Warwick has none. It's just doesn't
two
make any
turf
sense.
fields in Central Falls.
Yes,
Shout out
they
to
have
Central
2. We
Falls,
have none.
competing.
You know,
Yeah, that is
one
crazy.
one square mile of city, and they have it, and the third largest city in the state does not.
So hopefully things don't get held up in Burrville and Burrville can finish their field. Oh, here it is, actually. I got the picture. This is what it looks like right now. That everything stopped. It's at a standstill. They should be rolling the carpet out, getting all that stuff ready. And now Burrville is actually playing at, I think, Everton Field
Mhm.
temporarily, but I think till mid-October there's a restraining order, you know. I don't know. I
Wow.
just think it's crazy, but I don't think people really look into this with a clear picture. And this actually came off NRI Now News. They have a great story about it, So shout out to NRI News. People can go
Mm.
check that out, man. But some great games this week, Emerson, man. You officiated one of them.
Yeah.
What did you think about? Did you check out any of the other games?
Fortunately, I didn't. Has a little bit going on this weekend, but no, I'm sure I'm going to get updated here. But no, it was right now it was just me and with me at the me with Burrowville and Socket. But no, I mean that I mean I know Rogers had a tough loss. I know they did. It's kind of all I really know right now. But I know those 2 games. But yeah, I mean, let's just see who else won and lost, and I know
We'll have to
the.
fill you in.
Please do.
We'll have to get you filled in along with everyone else, man. But definitely on Friday nights, Saturday, Thursday nights, go out and support all the football programs. Go watch these kids play, man. But Charahoe and this Thursday night games, you had Charahoe and Mount Hope. Mount Hope, Coach Shane Parker, man, you're doing a fabulous job over there. Mount Hope has had trouble for a long time. Even Coach TJ fell short. He couldn't get it done. Shane Parker comes in and he's able to pick up the pieces in Mount Hope and able, to be in talks about Mount Hope making it to the playoffs. So they won 33-7 over Charahoe.
Okay.
South
Yeah.
Kingstown and Cranston West. had a nice little doozy. Cranston West coming out on top of SK 27-21. Two good teams. SK, and they probably run their same running plays, but SK always in the conversation.
I mean, again, you can't count them out. I mean, that's obvious here. They're doing a real good job, and they're really that type of team. Like, they're kind of sneak in on you and then sneak up on you. I really think they're doing a good job. I mean, I hear nothing but good things about what South Kingston is doing, and I mean, I've yet to officiate in their games, or I don't know who their head coach is. But I mean, they do. They do a really solid job. And again, I kind of classify those as one of them sleeper teams. They're playing good football. You don't really hear too much about them, but when you play them, you know. So they can keep up the good work down there, and they're definitely going to be playoff contenders. And let's see what they can do.
Bishop Hendricken goes out of state down to the Cape. The Barnstable Redhawks down on Hyannis. It was a Thursday 9-league game, but Bishop Hendricken won that game 31-24. Next, they have to go to Central for a Division I game Friday, October 18th. And if anyone knows anything about Bishop Hendricken and Central Knights, that it's always going to be a clash. Central is always hyped up for that game. And if you want to know what the feeling is, go check out Central Knights has a documentary on YouTube, Team Dollar, DOLLA, and you can actually check out the David versus Goliath episode. So go check that out. But what do you think about these two programs? So what do you think first about Bishop Hendricken going out of state and picking up a win?
And please don't take this the wrong way. I don't know what division Barnstable is in terms of Mass. I believe Mass has 6 divisions. I don't know where they're at. However, be that as it may, that definitely doesn't take away from the fact that a Rhode Island team went into Massachusetts and won. I think that's a great thing. I think more and more of our elite programs should be going out of state. And not just the private schools. I think others can definitely go out and compete and really have a really kind of make a statement for Rhode Island football. I'm glad to hear Hendricken won. That gives us a lot of credibility football wise, because again, Massachusetts is definitely ahead of Rhode Island when it comes to football. But a win is a win, and a win out of state is definitely a great win for any Rhode Island team. So, congratulations to Hendricken for getting that done, and they're continuing to roll. Now, as far as the Hendricken Classical match, I mean that's always a clash of the Titans. I mean, it doesn't matter what the situation is. The past couple of years has literally been the last drive, the last couple of seconds, and the game could have went either way. So, I know Hendricken has topped them, but it took them to the last play or the last second. So I expect another great game from them. Both teams are going to be up, and it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if you go watch that David and Goliath match, and I know we ain't going to get a comment from Emerson, but you go watch that, and we're going to see some suspect calls at the end of that Hendricken Central game. So we don't want no comment from Emerson, but go watch a game. Neither way, it was a great game, and Hendricken and Central always come to play. Shout out to Pete Croft and his program, and shout out to Central. And I wrote an article on Newsbreak that talks about public schools should never feel a sort of way when losing to any of these private schools, but it feels real good when you beat them.
No, and again, I know that's been the thing over the years about these teams recruiting and things like that, and it's tough. And I see it a little bit differently than others, but I think that overall, the matchups are the matchups, and regardless of what people believe about recruiting or whatever that situation may be, The one thing I definitely will say on what's the advantage for these public schools is that these private schools know that every time they play, they're gonna get their absolute best shot. Like all these programs that play them, they're gunning to beat them and beat them, convincingly. So they're gonna give it their all. They're gonna get the absolute best effort from all these players, and that's why all these top teams they really have to come out and play every single weekend. They can't take a break here. And regardless, yes, I do know there's a lot of times that these private schools do win, but that is a lot of pressure. And they do respond accordingly. But at the end of the day, a game's a game. Doesn't matter who you're playing. You gotta go out there and give it your all, and that's really what matters in this game of football.
Absolutely. So that's going to be a real good game. And up on the screen you can see this is the Division One RPI standings. This is the actual numbers that RAIL are using that put after week 5. These are the rankings. If the playoffs were to happen now, the top 8 get in. So
Mm-hmm.
you could actually in Division One, all 10 get in. So really, they're playing for seeding. 1 through 4 right now is going to be the state championship, and then you're going to have
Mm-hmm.
5 to 10, which is going to be the Division One championship. So as we see it now, you have Hendricken, St. Ray's, LaSalle, and Central as the top 4 programs in Rhode Island. Now, people would say St. Ray's was in number 1, and they said, well, Hendricken don't get enough credit for the teams that were better than them, that they went out of state to play. So they said St. Ray's should be second, Hendricken should be first. Is St. Ray's, do you think, the best team in the state?
That's an interesting question. They've been playing well. I mean, they've definitely been getting a little bit more publicity. I'll definitely say that. I think that I'm not really one to go into who's this and that, but I mean, publicity wise, you definitely hear more about St. Ray's than any other Division One team. So I would give them a slight edge with that. However, as much publicity as folks get, it's all about the gameplay on game day. I think that Hendricken's used to having the top spot, or LaSalle, or LaSalle or Hendricken usually going back and forth of who's number 1 and who's number 2. But I think St. Ray's is going to be a force to be reckoned with. I mean, I think that yeah, I don't know if they have if Hendricken plays St. Ray's in the regular season. I don't know how that works, but I would say that'd probably be the how they have the ESPN game of the week, or I think that'd be for sure our game of the week as far as Division One football here in Rhode Island. So I definitely look forward to that if that matchup does happen. Or if not, then it's anyone's ball game in the playoffs. I mean, so we'll definitely see how that goes. But St. Ray's is definitely making some noise this year, and I mean, I had the opportunity to officiate their game when they played Central, and they were doing some good things. So it's definitely gonna be interesting to see who ends up in the Super Bowl this year with them. So we'll just have to find out.
No, absolutely. St. Ray's, been playing some great football. They had a 14 to 12 win over Tolman yesterday, which was a head scratcher. But beat them 2 teams played all the time. It's kind of like when you know each other, a lot of friends on them 2 programs, But what a great, St. Ray's has been really playing. They brought in, I think they have 14 new add-ons from last season. So, like, you can't be mad at them. They're playing within the rules, just like LaSalle, just like Hendricken. They're bringing in some great football players. Number 1, Tashid Brown. What can you say? That kid can throw the ball. He can run. My article a couple of weeks ago about the quarterback controversy. You have 2 great quarterbacks, and it seems um, you're putting one in at one time, and it seems like maybe the other when there's trouble. But maybe you could create a 2 quarterback system. And St. Ray's explains it. We're never going to bury anybody. We're going to try to give them all an opportunity. I like what they're doing with their line, bringing in
Mm.
Sermos as center from Bishop Feenan. He was a transfer, a Rhode Island player. His older brother Christian coaches on the program. He played line in college. So Coach Sassy definitely, Coach Martinez, doing what he's going to do on the line. So I think St. Ray's can be talked about as one of the best teams, but to anoint them right now as the best team, it's a little early.
I definitely agree with that. I think that, and let me just go back to what you said a little bit. So the St. Ray's Tolman game, I'm actually not surprised at that score. What you said actually plays into that score, where both of those schools are in Pawtucket. Okay, so all those kids know one another, and that's kind of like the backyard brawl, for lack of a better word. They're I know. I mean, I've known JD for quite some time at Tolan. He's a competitor, and again, I know those kids are going to give it their absolute best shot against St. Ray's, and that's exactly what they did, and that's indicative of the score. I would definitely expect that type of game. It's almost like a Thanksgiving Day game, to be honest with you. It's kind of like your crosstown rival. So, usually in those games, it's not really high scoring. It's just a lot of action. It's a lot of back and forth. So, I'm not really surprised at that score. I don't think that says anything about the capacity of St. Ray's, or honestly the capacity of Tolman. They just battled, and having all those kids within that neighborhood, kind of made that game a little bit more exciting, I would say. But yes, St. Ray's did beat them, and that's fine. But again, you got your like it's the kids in the neighborhood. They all know one another, and they're just getting after it. So I think that I think St. Ray's is definitely going to learn from that experience. I mean, they had a good game, and they beat a cross-town rival, and they're going to move forward. I just think that too much is put into, okay, only beat them by 2 points. That's not really how it works. You're not going to blow out everyone, and there's going to be some teams that are much more evenly matched with you, and they're going to play you really hard, and they might not necessarily be a higher ranked team. I mean, some lower ranked teams are going to play you tough. That's what they do, and no disrespect for saying about that with Tolman, but I think that's what just happened here. And Tolman just gave them a really good game, which honestly I would expect from them, and that was that. So I mean, shout out to both of them teams for that type of game, and I'm positive it was physical. I know how Tolman plays, and I know how St. Ray's plays, so I think it was just a really good game, and just it was a really good game, but a low scoring game.
Tashad Brown behind the line goes 17 for 26 for 192 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had a QBR rating of 113. So he definitely balled out. And behind a good line, you had number 6, Ocampo, going 15 for 73 yards. He had a long of 30 yards. So they're definitely, and even in the passing game, getting it done. You had Cardoza 3 for 41, Ocampo 5 for 52, Platt 2 for 13, Buchanan 1 for 22, and Northup 6 for 64. So again, a lot of people involved. So shout out to St. Ray's.
Yeah, I mean, again, I mean, they have all the tools. I mean, there's no question about that. They have all the tools. When the time comes, and they start having to really maximize them tools, obviously it'll be, playoff time. We'll see what happens. I'm definitely interested to see how they perform, and what they're gonna do. But I mean, they still have some games to go. One of the things they have to know is that no matter how much hype they're getting and everything else, they can't overlook anyone. Because again, as I said before, when it came to Hendricken, where everyone's going to give them the absolute best shot, they're going to do the exact same thing with St. Ray's. Like they have to understand that. Whenever any of these teams right now are going to go against them, they have to realize these coaches are going to try to take them out. There's no question about that. So they have to be prepared for that, which I know they will be. But they can't sleep on any team regardless of their record or anything else. It really does not matter. I can, I have been on both sides of that equation in my playing career, both in high school and in college, where we were we were 500 and we were looking for that sixth win, and we just happened to be playing on Thanksgiving against Warwick Vets, and we beat them. They went to the Super Bowl and won the week, the couple or a week or two after. Okay, and then I remember being at Syracuse and losing to Rutgers. I remember being ranked at Syracuse and losing to West Virginia at West Virginia. They had a mission, so I know it for both angles. So you just have to come out and play. That's the only way this works.
He said playing Warwick Vets, he goes back.
That's right. No shame in that. No shame in that whatsoever.
That's right.
Listen, the Pilgrim Vets games were things of magic back in the day. I mean, you had literally half the city at the stadiums, and it was always good to see alumni and everything else. And obviously Warwick Vets is now junior high school, and it's just Pilgrim and Tollgate now in Warwick. But I mean, it was really a great time in Rhode Island football where your crosstown rival. It didn't matter if you were 1-8 or, I mean, it just didn't matter. Like you could win on Thanksgiving and that was a winning season.
Absolutely.
And honestly, that holds true even now. I mean, your crosstown rival or your rival there. If you beat them, if that's your designated rival and you beat them, you've done something successful this season. And honestly, I do remember one time, and this is when obviously when Vets was still high school, but Pilgrim did not win one game. And I forget when exactly as well. And it was like 2012, 2013. Like they did not win one game, but they beat Vets on Thanksgiving, and that was their season. And regardless of them getting, regardless of them getting pounded, and God knows they did, okay, but they pulled it together and beat Vets on Thanksgiving. And you should have seen the smiles on these kids' faces as they were walking off the field, as all the alumni, all the parents were hugging them and shaking their hands and everything else. That felt like a winning season. And so believe me, I definitely get it. And all of us who have played this game or are playing this game that get those chances to play on Thanksgiving, we all know how that feeling is. So, it was a really good time with that.
And in this state right now, there's probably like maybe 4 Thanksgiving Day games that are like that. Warwick Vets and Pilgrim used to be one of them. Too bad the rivalry couldn't continue when they went to Tollgate. But you have East Providence, I think LaSalle. They've been playing for a long time. You have West Warwick and Coventry, a big one.
Right.
Westerly Stonington. That game goes back to 1911.
Right.
That's tied with being the oldest Thanksgiving Day rivalry. But you have some of them games, like you said, is bigger than life. They don't care about the states. They don't care about regular season. You win that game, all is forgiven.
Right. And it was always a good feeling. Like, again, I mean, the Pilgrim Vets rivalry, was obviously it was big for us in Warwick, but obviously they were bigger, right? West Warwick and Coventry, like you said, especially Westerly Stonington. That was always the top one in the state, and as far as I was concerned, because it was number one, it's an out of state rivalry, number one, and number two, it's been going on for so long. So I think that as far as the rivalries, if it happened, like we were like 4th or 5th, I believe, in terms of length, with Pilgrim and Vets. But and for folks who don't realize this, there's plenty of guys that I bump into who went to Warwick Vets. And we going obviously it's going back to the mid '90s here, but the year we beat Warwick Vets, Warwick Vets went to the Super Bowl and won. And the year that Vets beat Pilgrim, we lost in the Super Bowl, but we were going to the Super Bowl, so it really didn't matter. It kind of put a stain on our season there in my senior year when we lost to them. And it's unfortunate because we lost to them, then we lost in the Super Bowl. But this is how it happened. But yeah, it was that Thanksgiving game. Like a lot of people, like it's like no, that really means a lot to these kids, and I know it meant a lot to me in the 3 years that I played varsity. So it was always good to hear. And again, it's always good to see the other big rivalries. Always the East Providence LaSalle game. That was always a big one. So it's it's always good to see. It's always good to have the kids just go out there and do their thing. and and watch that. Now is even funner now is I get to officiate a lot of these games, and yeah, it does get chippy, and I definitely get it, but it's just good to see, and it's good to keep that keep those traditions going.
Now let me get you some of these scores now. Cranston East winless against Middletown. Excuse me. Middletown shuts out Cranston East 27-0. Cranston East winless on the season, but we all know they're in a rebuilding mode. Middletown wins that one, and it's actually gonna help Middletown eventually. If they can keep winning, climb up in the ranks. South Kingstown right now is ahead in Division One, with Moses Brown second and West Warwick picking up third, and Lincoln would be the number 4 team. Right now, that's after week 5. Everything's done. These are your calculations. Do I have that right? West Warwick, Lincoln? Maybe not. Let me check. But East Providence shuts out Shea. That's actually the second team East Providence shut out back to back. Oh, is East Providence gaining some momentum?
It kind of looks like it. They're really not a team to sleep on. I know that coaching staff really well, and honestly, I had the one game against West Warwick, and they played them tough. I mean, West Warwick's a solid football team, and yes, West Warwick did win that game against East Providence, but I mean, they were just swinging back and forth. I mean, it was just a lot of good football being played in that game. And again, yes, a lot of things obviously went, obviously West Warwick won, but a lot of things went West Warwick's way. But East Providence didn't quit. I mean, they kept fighting. I'm not surprised that all of a sudden, they're starting to get into their season form now halfway through. Sometimes this happens. There's some teams that start off really well and then they go on a little skid, and there's some teams that it takes them a little bit longer to warm up, and then once they're warmed up halfway through that season, they start doing well. So I'm definitely not surprised about that with East Providence. I think that they're going to continue to do well, and hopefully they can keep rolling with this and keep doing their thing.
Absolutely. East Providence, so they win that game 42-0. They're 3-2 right now on the season. So let's see. They have a couple of losses here. They have SK coming up. That's going to be a tough one, followed by Moses Brown. And on November 2nd, Tolman. So East Providence definitely has a couple tough games coming up right now. And I actually didn't have the right numbers up here for the Division 2 stats. I must have screwed up, but I want to get the right ones. But let me get back here. East Providence, man, do you think they have enough speed to climb back into this? Playing SK, who's at the top of the Division 2.
So honestly, it remains to be seen. I mean, the ads any given Sunday. I mean, they're starting to gain a little bit of momentum right now. So I really want to see how this plays out here. I mean, I think like I said before, some teams it takes them a little bit to warm up, and all of a sudden, they're really kind of rolling. I think that might be the case for East Providence here. And again, it is any given Sunday. Like, people have to know and understand that. It is not it's not okay. There's just one team. Like, I think that there's a lot of good teams in this state, and some are slowly starting to peak. Some maybe they haven't peaked yet. I mean, I always say this: there's going to be some upsets. I mean, there's going to be some teams that they're just a really gritty team, and they're going to give it their absolute best shot, and they're going to get their absolute best shot when these upper teams, upper ranked teams, and then all of a sudden that upper ranked team gets beat. It's going to keep everyone kind of in playoff contention. So it remains to be seen. I wish them all the credit, all the success, but we'll see what happens.
Now, what you're looking at right now is the official Division 3 line of how the numbers work, the winning percentage over on the right, and the opponent's winning percentage. This is the math that the RIIL does to put everybody in place. And right now you have Rogers, followed by Quasco, Pilgrim, Ponagansett, Mount Hope, North Providence, Johnston, East Greenwich, Charahoe, and Cranston East. So, this is the new RPI, which some people are saying it's kind of is crazy. Other people, when you talk to the league about it, they said wait until we get a little deeper in the season, and it's all gonna make sense, and it's all gonna play out. But we got 3 games left, so I don't know how much deeper in the season we can get. But Coventry, man, Coventry had their redemption game, beating Mount Pleasant 34-6, taking Nate Petrarca and just running him right up the middle. I mean, Nate Petrarca is a hell of a football player. Mount Pleasant, though, kept keying on this one cornerback until about halftime. Coventry finally made an adjustment, but Mount Pleasant, not the Mount Pleasant that we're used to seeing.
Well, I mean, again, sometimes it's just kind of how it works. That may be another team again that might be slow to start here, but again, you can't sleep on any one of these teams. I can't say that enough. You can't. So hopefully things are going to get better. I know Jay Addison. I know he's done a good job over there. It might be a down year for him, but he'll figure things out. I know that for sure.
Absolutely. I'm sure he will. Shout out to Jay Addison. I want to get this screen back on. Mount Pleasant always had its ups and downs, so if they keep struggling, maybe they can climb in. Maybe it's a rebuilding year. But they're a team just like Central that is having trouble right now. They're having trouble finding kids, getting kids in the building, getting kids to play.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because that's just how it's playing out there. But there aren't any real easy answers for that problem they have. They only have a certain certain mileage they can get, and then it's other schools, so it really is a tough thing for them. But that might need to be reconfigured for some of these city teams.
Up on the screen right now, we have, if you go to WJR, they have the game. It's North Smithfield, Friday night rivals. Smithfield's up 18-7. So if you have a chance, go check that game out. We always got to support, but a lot of people don't even know that they have these Friday night rival games on WJR. So, but they're good to watch. Central Falls getting some redemption, man. Climbing back into this 38-0 over Tollgate. So congratulations to Central Falls.
Yeah, I mean, Tollgate needs some work. It's other, the other school in the city of Warwick here, and they need a lot of work there. Like it's, I know it's, I know the issues over there, and I know that coach over there. He's the old school coach. He's coach at Bryant, really good guy. I know he's doing the best he can over there, but there needs to be, some, really some soul searching over there with some of these kids, and just talk to them about, hey, listen, we got to start doing better here. No one wants to keep going week in and week out and dealing with that. So, I kind of see about the, I look at the leadership of the, the seniors and that, and just like, okay, let's do something here. Let's really work. Coaches, yes, I know that coach. I know the offensive line coach over there, and they're doing the best they can. So, been a tough year for them, but I hope they can try to get at least one win out here this season, and then really build from there. But they got a lot of work ahead of them.
And the next game up is Wesley and Central Knights faced off for the 3rd year in a row. Wesley took two of them games. Well, Central Knights came up to Wesley and beat them 24-14. Now Central gets ready for Hendricken. Westerly gets ready for a Moses Brown team who is right now second in the RPI standing, second or third. I have to check on that. So what do you think about what coach is doing over at Moses Brown? And what about the Bulldogs? Is that going to be a good matchup?
So, I definitely like what Lorenzo's doing over there at Moses Brown. I mean, it was definitely needed. And definitely know they got the right man for the job over there. He is, as long as they continue to work with him, he will take that program to the next level for sure. Just like anything, just like even going back to Cranston East and Coach Cook, usually that first year, especially at Cranston East, that first year he's gonna take his lumps and then get a good off-season program going and really let these kids know. His resume speaks for itself. He knows what he's doing over there. He just needs a little bit of time. And honestly, so does Lorenzo. I think he's obviously having a little bit more success right now, which is great and kind of expected. I think that within another year or two, they're really going to be making some noise and really challenging, folks for state titles. So, I think he's doing a good job so far. I haven't heard anything, negative over there about him, which I wouldn't expect anyway. But ultimately, I think he's doing a really good job, and and wish him good continued success.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Some people didn't know how Lorenzo was going to come out the gate over there at Moses Brown, but I was thinking they're going to be a strong program. They figured, well, Miles Craddock left and the quarterback graduated, and without them, the team kind of had some trouble last season. But I think that's going to be a good matchup. Westerly, Moses Brown. So we'll see how that goes this upcoming week. Cumberland and Salem. Cumberland goes out of state. Another D1 team going out of state. Cumberland was up on Salem. I think it was 22-7 going into the fourth quarter. Well, to end the fourth quarter, Salem comes out of the game winning 25-22.
Oh, wow.
So Cumberland, it looked good all up into the fourth quarter, and it seems like things just fell apart on Cumberland. But at least they went out there. They played. It looks like the Salem's witches finally they kicked in like right around the fourth quarter.
So you gotta give credit where credit is due to Cumberland. They came up there and they gave him a good game. I really think that's the way to look at it. Unfortunately, they didn't get the win. But again, those types of games is what our state needs. They need to be, oh wow, we're playing a Rhode Island team. Watch out. We really need to get that type of reputation, around New England. And again, they fell short. That's fine, but at least I can assume that there was much respect given there because it's up to the fourth quarter and they came back and won. Like they had to fight back. Now I don't know what happened to Cumberland, but it is really about respect. It's sad to go to these to hear some of these games. Oh yeah, Rhode Island team went to Connecticut and lost 35-0. Like that does nothing for the state. Any team going up there and giving their all, and yeah, they fell a little short. It is what it is, but they gave them a game. That's really what we're looking for. So, I kind of wish Cumberland won. Been another good thing there, but it's football. Things happen. They gave it their all, and it came up a little short. But there was respect that I can see that. Wow, there's a lot of respect here. They gave us the absolute best shot. They were up, and then we just came back. So. Again, not the result we want, but kind of that the respect factor is definitely high.
And then Saturday's games, we had two undefeated teams. Situate and Davies. It looks like Situate won that one 35-15. So shout out to Situate for 5 in a row, having a lot of success. I'm actually happy to see Situate in this situation. Finally having the success that they need to get their field back this season. Another court order, another football field that was held up for 5 freaking years.
Right.
because of the courts. They get their football field back, and here they are, week 5, have not lost a game. Can't
So
say enough
I
about
have to
that.
say I'm definitely a little surprised that Situate beat Davies. I had the opportunity to officiate the Davies Narragansett game, and that was a great game. Davies did win that. They came out and they were just on fire. So Situate beat a really good football team.
So that must
But
says a lot about Situate, huh?
Correct. So, with that being said, I mean, this might be Situate's year. Undefeated. I mean, that Situate and undefeated you never really hear those two words in the same sentence. So, shout out to all those guys out there in Situate doing their thing. I know that they've been through a lot over these past couple of years, and yes, the field and coaching switches and issues, blah blah blah. So, definitely one program who's been through a lot in for them to really kind of show out this year undefeated and, moving forward, there's a really good thing. So I'm definitely happy for those guys. Continued success to them. And, hopefully they keep this rolling all the way to the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely. And for the next game, man, I wish I had a Red Fox sound. Olivia, I'm coming. Olivia, I'm coming. EWG gets a win 48-6 over Tiverton. I mean, up to last week, we seen in the RPI standings that EWG didn't even have a win yet, and they actually was in 8th spot over a team that did have a win. So now EWG has a win, and hopefully they could build on that. But geez, I wish I had a Red Fox sound bite for that. But 48-6, they beat Tiverton, man. Ponagansett and Hope and St. Patrick's. A lot of people say, who's this? HSPCA. I'm sorry. HSPA. That's Hope and St. Patrick's had to co-op. What's going on is we need these co-ops to save these city programs. If we can't co-op these city programs, then we're going to lose hope.
Right, and that's really unfortunate. And unfortunately, it's a sign of the times. It's just funding and everything. It's just bad. I mean, that's really the best way to put it here. Like, it's really just a bad situation with a lot of these schools. But there needs to be more options here. Folks really need to folks really need to put their heads together and really start working with this. I think yes, the co-op thing is good. I think maybe they need to do that with more of the with more of the inner city programs. I know like perfect example how they are. How eventually Tolman and Shea are going to combine. And it's going to be Pawtucket High School. That might be a situation for sports that helps out some of these other cities here, because I get it. And, we don't need to get into the logistics of everything, but, funding is, funding's low. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of these programs, they don't have much. The old adage, making $1 to 50 cents. That's what some of these programs are doing, and they need help. So hopefully, yes, these things are working out. Hopefully it is, it continues, and we can these guys who really want to play football, hopefully they can continue too. I really think it'd be unfortunate if things have to if programs have to shut down just because of that. So hopefully that won't be the case. Hopefully this can continue, and these kids can play football.
No, exactly. I wanted to correct something on the Division 2 RPI standings. This is the actual standings, REIL. And we had SK in first, Moses Brown picking up second with 366, I believe. West Warwick in third, Westerly in fourth, Lincoln in fifth, East Providence holding sixth, Coventry in seventh. Eighth was Tolman, Shea, Woonsocket, Middletown, and I believe Mount Pleasant was down the bottom. Respect to all these middle to the bottom teams, but you see how the level of competition falls off in Division 2 compared to like a Division III. So some of these small teams, they need to try to get debt and get guys to come out and play. You know,
Well, I agree. I mean, I think that
Coventry's a
I
big
mean,
school. They're a top 5 school in
yeah,
enrollment.
yeah, no, I agree with that. But again, I think that there needs to be more of an emphasis on okay, well, we're having these problems. What we're going to do about it, and everyone be on the same page with that. Whole the thing I don't like is just the bashing and all that stuff. Like that's where the stuff got to stop. Um, I know it's frustration. I can respect that. I definitely understand that. But at the end of the day, like we got to look at the perspective. Okay, what is best for the kids? How we're going to deal with this? What's the best way to deal with this, and go from there. So, I'm not a big fan of the whole bashing thing. And work with folks. Let's figure this out and let's get it done.
Let's go, man. Rogers taking a tough loss to Moses Brown, 17-20. Rogers coming into this year basically undefeated. Playing great football up there. I can't say enough about what Rogers is doing.
Yeah, I mean, Rogers again. They're playing really good football. I mean, yes, I know they just they did lose, but that is I know Moses Brown played them tough, and those things happen. But I completely expect Rogers to bounce back here. I really feel that they are a solid football team, and sometimes you lose games like that. It's kind of a lesson learned as okay, okay, we lost because of this, and this is what we need to work on. So I think that's probably what happened with Rogers. I think they'll definitely bounce back and continue on their way, and we'll keep moving forward, and they'll keep moving forward, and there's still plenty of football left to play here, so they will be fine.
3 games, plenty of football, but plenty of football left. But
Hmm.
Rogers right now is in command of the number 1 spot in Division III, and they have a 2.83. Glasgow with a 2.76, and
Right.
Pilgrim is like 2.36. Pontigan's taking up 4, followed by Mount Hope. Them are the top 5 teams in Division III. So when you're looking at people is the actual numbers from RAIL, how these teams are ranking up in their standings. Win loss obviously don't matter because we've seen
Right.
that with teams that have no wins or less wins having better RPI numbers than teams that had wins. So the next 3 games is going to be crucial. I think we're going to have to pay attention to the RPI numbers.
Right. Yep. And again, I know it's a little bit awkward, but listen, at the end of the day, this is the system we got, and this is what we got to do. So I think that you're right. Definitely got to pay attention. I think that folks are folks really got to figure things out. And like I said, it'll be it's I'm honestly interested to see how this all plays out in the playoffs. Who's going to be playing who, and how this and how this all happens. So I'm definitely kind of sitting back and just waiting to see how I really hope no one gets screwed. I kind of have a feeling they might. Hopefully they don't, but it remains to be seen. So hopefully things will pan out and we'll go from there.
Yes, sir, man. Woonsocket stepping up, playing Burrville. Burrville won that 28-21. Tough game. Both teams competing. Lincoln and Johnston. Lincoln over Johnston, 36-18. Lincoln climbing that scale in the RPI. So a team that will be there come playoff time. West Warwick and Portsmouth, another team. West Warwick, I talked to Coach Penn. He said, we let that one slip away. Portsmouth over West Warwick, 30-22. But I told Coach Penn, I said, this is your 4th season. In 3 years, you took them to the semis. You took them to the Super Bowl. And here you are competing against a Division I program. That was unheard of a few
Right.
years back under the
Right.
former administration. I said, so hat off to what Coach Pennington is doing. Pilgrim beats EG, and I think I read that this was a season high for Pilgrim, 31-6.
Wow. That's really good. my alma mater is doing this thing here, which is good. I know. I know Blake's doing a good job over there, and it's definitely it's definitely good to see. But yeah, that's pretty decisive win there. I think with West Warwick again, as I said before, just kind of like with Rogers, like there's always that one game that like, man, like we played well, we just didn't play well enough to win, and we need to sit down, reevaluate, and move forward. I think that was probably that was that game for West Warwick. And honestly, no disrespect to Portsmouth, obviously they played well and they won, but you really got to look at okay, I'm gonna take a step back, like you know what, let me kind of figure this out and then we move forward. So, every once in a while, those things happen. I think it happens to, it's happened to a couple of teams this week. So hopefully they pick up the pieces, they rebound, and they move forward.
Absolutely. I'm getting to my next clip right now. The last thing to really say is Friday Night Lights, man, we're going to have some great games. Tollgate Davies, we'll talk about that after. Toma Mount Pleasant, SKEP, St. Ray's, and LaSalle. That is going to be a great game. And we're going to get a Super Bowl rematch. Middletown versus West Warwick. That's on schedule for Friday Night Lights next week. Emerson, thank you. Like always, it's always an honor to have you join us. People say, why you talk to that dude? But I really appreciate your loyalty. Shout out to you. But these RPI numbers, man, in case anybody's, I'm going to put the rules also, how it all goes down. I'm just a little confused about you play up, you get some points. It didn't look like, I put up the numbers with Division 2. We've seen West Warwick take a loss, Westerly take a loss. Coventry wins, East Providence wins. So we've seen teams moving around, but not as big as I thought they would. So the league said, wait to the end of the season until you criticize. Kind of like don't knock it till you rock it. Wait
Right.
till week 8, and then you want to criticize us. But wait until week 8, and it'll all balance out. They're saying.
Yep.
So
And again, I'm anticipating it will. So that remains to be seen. But hopefully, all this works out for everyone involved here, and they can get the job done. So we shall see.
yes, sir. Appreciate that. Appreciate you, Em. Talk to you soon.
All right, Mike. Thank you.
All right. My mouth's all dry and shit. Appreciate Emerson for joining us, man. Always good to chop it up, talk some high school football. And I screwed up on the rankings on Division 2, so I might as well get this shit out of here. Again, you could definitely go check out the game that's going on. Where this is on WJAR. 32-7. What I did notice about this game, I noticed that North Smithfield getting into the red zone several times. But I don't see a lot of running in the red zone. And I would think you would run when you're in the red zone, right? But what do I know? But shout out to these two programs. It's still a possibility North Smithfield can definitely creep in and get a playoff spot. Let me see. Week 5, Division 3. We have Rogers, Classical, Pilgrim, Ponagansett, Mount Hope, North Providence, Johnston, EG, and Charahoe. And then Division 4, North Smithfield sitting over there with a 7. And EWG still holding on to that number 8 spot at 0.84. What do you think about these RPIs? This one's kind of interesting. Division 1. So right now, Hendricken will play Central. St. Ray's will play LaSalle. Dale 4 will play for a state championship. Number 5 through 10 And Barrington's down there at number 10, but it's just so unrealistic they won't even have a chance to catch up. But it don't matter. It don't matter because everybody makes the playoffs in Division One. But what else? All right, man. Appreciate y'all. Don't forget, UMass over there dying to get on the field and play. They play next week. They had a bye this week. Appreciate y'all. Enjoy this. The game that's on. Or go check it out. My mouth's dry as a motherfucker. Gotta go.
Not promote or promotion any illegal activities. All content provided by this channel is meant only for educational purpose only.
Wins, not everybody, the older coaches. They want to cry, they want to go to these RIIL meetings, and they want to cry, we're not competitive.
Oh, the alignment's good for football on second thought. Dude, you crapped on it this whole video, man. And I haven't even got on you for going after the parents at East Greenwich, man. I wish I had that video uploaded.
Listen, no one's going to give you more coverage. No one's going to be at more games. No one's going to be more informed. I'm not just some guy sitting in his basement spouting off about who's winning games and who's doing what. We're real. The rebellion is real. Providence Journal coverage is going to be real this year. It's almost here. 3 days away.
I love what Mikey does. Sometimes I'm like, yo, you over the edge, TMZ with it. But
the boy gonna do you something nasty.
I hate to say it, more times than not, he get the results he wants.
Right, and to be honest with you, I honestly don't think it's over. Honestly, I think exactly what this state needs. We've always needed a platform where we can call out the nonsense,
the repercussions,
and give people the props that they deserve, and call out the people who are full of it. And honestly, I think that more and more people are starting to utilize Mike's platform for that. And honestly, I know a lot of folks. A lot of people talk to me, "Oh, Emerson, like you're on there and you talk this and you talk that," and I'm like, "Listen," I said, name one thing that he's been wrong about. And then there's silence.
That's the bad guy. Bad guy. Bad guy. That's the bad guy. The bad guy.
We don't do no talking. We know what they do.